So Activision just confirmed that THPS 3 and 4 will not contain THPS 4's campaign mode, and that's actually bigger than you might think. If you think about it, back in the days when those games were made, a lot of the games were iterative. You got new tricks in every new game, and you got new skaters, you got better graphics, different levels, whatever, right? So in 3+4, what we're essentially getting is a level pack, some extra tricks, and some cosmetics, most likely. Now, why is this bad? Well, first of all, the game will sell less. Activision, being Activision, is very stingy on what it wants to spend their money to. And second of all, that means they don't have the mechanics in place to start working on a Thug 1+2. And a lot of people are saying, like, oh, THPS 4's campaign mode wasn't that good anyways, like, you shouldn't care about it, whatever. It's not about that it's bad, because there's enough people that like it even though it's bad, and enough people that think that it's good. It's the fact that they weren't willing to spend the time and money into developing those tools that they could then later on use to create a more efficient version or a more efficient development for Thug as well. And I'm not particularly into the Thug series, but it's just a very obvious sign of what's to come. Because this game will probably sell a little bit worse because of the fact that people aren't getting what they want from THPS 4. Um, essentially mean that Activision will look at those numbers and say, well, is it really worth spending money into Thug 1+2 when we have to make extra tools and extra assets, and we have to recast all those people back when it didn't pay off doing that for 3 and 4? If there's enough outcry, like, maybe we can do something. Maybe we can delay the game. Maybe they'll make a DLC which contains the campaign mode, whatever, right? But essentially what it means is that Activision is not willing to spend the money and or time to actually give us what we want in the remakes. Who knows, maybe they do a Thug and it's just the same as this, it's just a level pack, and then no one is getting what they want because what people love about Thug is the storylines. At least that's what I see, because I personally have never played it. I played the original THPS 124. And it's just such a sad thing to see that what we want is not what we get. The whole thing about getting it 1+2 was, oh my god, maybe they'll make 3 and 4. And I'd love to see, and me personally, I'd love to see 4 campaign modes remastered. Even if it is this like smaller thing and it's not as good as Thug, it's an iterative design process, and who says that we can't replace characters that can't come back, and who says we can't make things a little bit better, balance things a bit out, like the increased features that they're able to add, that they did add in 1+2, and the things that we have access to these days in development means that this should have been relatively expected, and yet it's still not there. It's just a kind of a disappointment that makes you scratch your head and say, why didn't you do this? Because if you want a remake, you want it to be faithful, and this is not faithful if it's just going to be what is essentially just a THPS 4 level pack scrapped onto THPS 3. Because they're just not creating anything new other than visuals. There's really nothing other than tricks that really make you say, wow, this is a new game. This is new but familiar, because the familiarity of Force storyline and of Force campaign mode is just completely gone. Like, I wonder, for example, if you'll have in the first mission, the school section, what about the cars? I forgot what they're called, but like you had like the one mission where you have the 4 cars going over the runway. Like, is that even going to be available in the 3+4 remake? Like, what other bits of stories and lines and other content are we going to miss out if the campaign mode from 4 is missing? And How much will it affect sales? And again, how much would it affect the development of Thug 1+2? And I think if they were doing, if let's say this game bombs, and the main reason is it doesn't contain the campaign levels, Activision will most likely work on a DLC, which is still bad, that will contain the campaign mode. But then, if that sells well and that resonates really well, and maybe they sell, I don't know, maybe they sell a bundle that's $60 with the game and the DLC, and that does well, then that means that they can continue on Thug 1+2. It's not as big as a development cost because most of that cost went into developing the campaign, and then they can just reuse it. And they can see what they need to do with licensing in from there. So essentially what I think is this is just a really bad site for us to see what's coming in the future, because I think everyone wants, like, Thug was probably the most popular thing out there when it comes to THPS series, even though, again, I have zero relationship with me. I just want to advocate for a better game, because I am scared that if they want to remaster Thug, it's going to be nothing like it. That's what they're essentially is going to do. Is just they're going to just retrofit the THPS 1, 2, 3 challenge mode into Thug, and I don't think any of the Thug fans want that. So everyone should comment. Everyone that likes the 4 campaign mode, and even if you don't like the campaign mode, even if you like only Thug, for example, you only like that campaign mode, you should still be outraged and annoyed, because it will affect Thug, and it will affect its development, whether it be development time, cost, maybe it won't happen at all, maybe they'll do, as I said, they'll retrofit it. It doesn't matter. You should still be upset because it's not a faithful remake. How are you gonna say, like, how are you gonna say that it doesn't matter for Thug, even though there are gameplay aspects that are completely missing? Who says that they won't do that for Thug? So you should be outraged and you should be mad about this, because it's not true to how it should be, and this is bad. And this is just classic economics just showing in its face, where it's just like, okay, we're not really respecting the older games in this case, where we respected 1 and 2 very closely. We didn't respect 3 and 4, or we didn't respect 4, because that's really the outlier here, correctly. So either way, thank you for watching, and I hope you agree with my opinion, and make yourself known to Activision, and make sure the word gets out. League of Legends just had their Hextech chess back into the game because there was so much outrage that they collapsed, because they did have the money and they did have the time to do it and maintain it. And it's the same thing here. They just don't want to. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.